Welcome back to another episode of the Abandoned STI, presented by Turn 14 Distribution. Today is a tying up loose ends kind of day. We have a running and driving car, everybody. It needs a little bit more engine brake-in, but then it'll be time to go to the dyno. But before we do that, in having spoken with Dove at NV Auto and Mike from Cop Tuning, they want us to put a wideband in it. So we have this AEM X Series wideband kit, which obviously includes a gauge, which I think we're probably just going to pop in the glove box, more or less.
Ooh, that's a good question. I've been kind of going back and
Stealthy
forth. Yeah,
install,
that's what I was thinking.
right? Because we don't need necessarily monitor it full time.
No, you don't.
We really want it for tuning purposes,
Yes,
don't we?
exactly.
And we can, in fact, wire this directly to the cob, I think. That's the plan.
That is the plan.
So the kit comes with, obviously, the gauge, the wideband sensor itself, which I will show you here, as well as several wiring harnesses, which we will use to install it in the car. So this is the part where Pete normally intervenes, because you know if I'm trying to do wiring, it's just not going to go well. So
no, especially I want to make sure my daily driver is running optimally, so I don't trust you with this job. Sorry, DP.
fair. No, I don't trust myself either, even though it is my daily driver.
As you guys just saw there, I ended up passing the O2 sensor wiring up through the center of the shifter right off to the side of on the rubber boot. And the reason for that is we're going to mount our gauge right in this area here. We figure it's pretty low key, so it seemed like a good idea to put it through there. It is now time to find a lead for the ground and positive wire for the hookup for the gauge. I also want to keep it in this area, so we found the cigarette hookup right on, I guess it's a, what is this,
12 volt outlet?
12 volt outlet, yeah.
Socket.
I guess the cigarette stuff, like that's
Exactly.
that's
Nobody
an 80s
smokes
thing,
anymore,
man.
bro.
What am I
It's a
talking
Subaru.
about?
You only vape in this thing.
Those are 12 volt outlets at this point, right?
That's just to power your vape gun, bro.
Maybe, you're right. Okay, so I quickly went out and got myself this Autool battery tester. So this is pretty much a very fancy probe to check for voltage. And why I got this one is I like that it's got the output, so I know exactly how much voltage is showing. So I'm gonna see here, see which wire to hook up to here, but there we go, we've got 12 volts, so I know that's gonna be my positive and the black will be my ground. It's making some noise, so pretty cool little tool. I'll put a link in the description for all you guys looking for something like this. Moving on here, we've got the gauge that I installed with a very, very simple and primitive L bracket. And now I've run all the wires to this area, so all we need to do is push them through here. There we are, in place. Bam. I think that looks pretty good, DP. What do you think?
I like it. Yeah, it's
Pretty
nice,
stealth.
very stealth.
Right on. So the last thing we have to do actually is, here's our white wire. We've pulled back the cover for our ECU, and we're gonna wire this into the rear O2 sensor signal, and then we can convert that to a reading for in the cob.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
you can configure the cob to read from that sensor, and we'll be all set.
we'll be good to go. As you can see, we've pulled our bumper off, and that is because we have a couple small little things we want to address. The first one being the intercooler piping is very, very close to our header. So what I've done is I've pulled out the stash heat reflective material. This is heat screen from DEI. We've got the gold one, and this one is silver, but it's a little bit thicker. So if you can see the material difference, this is like more pliable, but I think this is the one I'm gonna go with because it's gonna, I think, radiate the heat a little bit better. I might have a little bit of an issue putting it on because it is thicker, However, we're gonna see how this works. Let's get that on there. Okay, one more here. I mean, this is pretty far away from it right now, but I figure I've got it. Might as well use it. Let's see here. Okay, bring that up. Bring this around. All right. You think, DP?
Yeah, looks good, man.
Is that gonna make our car go a little bit faster or what?
Everything helps.
In an effort to get everything done at NV Auto, we didn't show you that we relocated our horn, which was up in this area with a parent front mount, down to here where Cosworth wanted it. And when we did that, the factory horn didn't fit. So I mounted up a Hella. And when I mounted it up, I thought, you know what? Who needs two? Because one's okay. And the reason why you want two of them is this.
Sounds like an old Ouga.
That is the worst horn. And I noticed they have an L and H on them, which I think is low tone and high tone. So I'm just gonna mock this guy up in this area here, and we'll see if we got a better sound.
Like tuning an acoustical masterpiece, we decided to put the other horn on the other side here, both for symmetry and for that stereophonic experience, that true tone.
Well, it better live up to expectations.
Man,
here.
It better sound good. So I'm gonna
Give
go
me
give
the
this thing a
honk.
blast here, and we'll see what we get. You ready?
Yeah.
That's a little
I don't know what to say.
underwhelming. It's not a great sound. It's very flat, and it's less Ayuga-y as it was. It's not so old-timey anymore, but it doesn't have a lot of oomph to
There
it.
are red Hellas that you buy,
Yeah, we put on
and I
the
think
Z.
their tone is a little bit
way
different.
louder and higher. This is quite a low, flat sound, but whatever. It works.
It's a horn.
Functional.
Yeah.
We're not going to get arrested for not having a horn. So
We're moving on here.
let's move on. And just like that, we've changed things up on the horn location because the bumper doesn't fit, and we were blocking the tow hook location here with the horn. So we've just moved it over here onto the side, and interestingly, it's changed the acoustic experience, everyone. So, horn button. Let's find out what happens.
The Hellas get a redo.
You got to redo a retune.
There we go.
What
That
happens?
sounds better.
Was it just making a bad ground before, maybe?
Maybe. That's the only thing I can think of. Well, let's blame the ground.
Yeah, so many problems fixed. Now it's time to move on to some front bumper tuning. We had intentions of installing carbon fiber front canards or dive planes from Veris Engineering. These are available for your GR STI, except we have an 08, or actually it's an 09. We keep calling it an 08, but it's an 09. And they changed the bumper style in, was it 11, 10 or 11? I can't remember. One of those.
Well, these are 11 to 14.
These are designed
apparently.
for 11 to 14 based on Veris's website. There was a miscommunication on that, so these don't fit our bumper, but
Well,
they kind of do. Like, they're designed to kind of be quite a steep angle of attack on the 11 to 14 bumper.
and further back,
And further back, yeah, kind of like in this area.
lower, but yeah.
Okay, down here.
Right around there, yeah.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
Which, you know, the contour of that bumper is different than this one. It's kind of more squared off. So, and the vent location is bigger, so it's all just different. Now we could kind of like just slap it on here somewhere where it fits the contour of the bumper okay, and maybe try to like match the angle of the front
yeah,
grille.
like if you just brought that down like that.
Oh, you want to go that flat?
That's what I
mean,
would
you're losing
do.
a lot of the effect of it.
This is,
It's turning
man,
into
this is street car,
cosmetic
my man. This
thing.
is a cosmetic thing for us.
I don't know. I just don't
But
know.
yeah, anyways,
It feels like we're putting a part designed for a different bumper on here, which I don't know if.
post in the comments.
Yeah,
should we do
yeah.
this
Let us
or
know.
no?
Let us know what you think of. Let us know what you think of this look. But as you guys will recall, our front bumper was trimmed in this area to fit a different front mount intercooler than we have on the car now, and it looks not great. So we want to do something to tune that up. And Pete had the idea that what if we got some mesh that matches this factory mesh in the upper part of the grille? And turns out Dylan Huber had this kicking around, I think on a construction site. This might be actually for like putting plaster up or something, but the pattern, this sort of diamond pattern, is actually very close.
It's just like slightly smaller.
Yeah, but it's close enough, we think, that we're gonna give it a try. So Pete's thrown a coat of Eastwood paint on here, which is sort of like
Like a chassis black, so it doesn't. It's gonna resist chipping, so it won't chip.
Okay, so we'll see how that works. So I guess the plan is just cut a big enough piece that we can fasten it on the backside, maybe with
Zip ties, my man.
Zip ties.
I don't know any other way how to fasten that so it'll hold properly.
All right, let's get a little drifter going here then. Well, I think that's an improvement. It's definitely not an exact match. It's also a little bit off color-wise. That one's faded, and this one's kind of glossy.
Oh,
black,
yeah, that one's satin, but
yeah, maybe
that
that's
other
what
one
it
is the 15-year-old kind.
It's 15-year-old satin, and
Yeah.
this is the new glossy Eastwood. But all in all, I think it is an improvement. It just kind of hides that gap a bit, doesn't it? So
Yeah, it
I think
does.
it's an improvement. I think, you know, in a perfect world, maybe we put a new bumper on it, or maybe we built some fancy ducting in there. But this is, I think, a good solution for now, especially on a street car where we're not super concerned about like optimizing every bit of airflow. But maybe once we take it to the track, we will be. So another small but important detail we're taking care of today is the front wheel spacers. As you guys will recall, we needed to put a 10 mil spacer like this. These are ST suspension wheel spacers, and we stole this off the BMW M3 to clear the calipers with our Enkei wheels. And what we didn't have at the time was the correct centering ring for the spacer. So we went ahead and ordered these centering adapters from ST Suspension's website. By the way, if you jump on their website, they have a really great system of figuring out what rings you need. So you just put in like your make, model, year of your car, and it'll know what your hub size is. And then if you give them the wheel size, the hub size on the back of the wheel, it'll tell you what adapter you need. We just made these hub-centric for the hubs. You can see there's a groove in the spacer here that the ring snaps into. So you can see there's like a little lip here. So I just snap these in here, and they become one, and they are now the right size for our STI. So I can plop that on here, and you can see, you can see it makes a nice snug fit onto the hub. It's worth mentioning too that these rings are made of a fiber composite material that requires no clearance. So in other words, they're the exact size of your hub, and that means they're a press fit. And the advantage of a press fit is, first of all, you get rid of any kind of slight wobble that you might have with a metal centering ring that they have to build some clearancing into. The other thing is they never rust or corrode, so they'll never like bond or like corrode themselves onto the ring or the hub or onto the back of your wheels. And they're also totally impervious to heat or anything like that, so they'll never melt on you. These are very rugged. They're also extremely light, which isn't a bad thing either. So
We have one last item, and this entire vehicle is complete, and it's a bit of a dress-up item. A Perrin pulley cover. It's kind of a monumental moment, DP, because
feels
this
good.
car is pretty much officially finished, aside from tuning.
Yeah.
But we are ready to go. It's been a long time coming. Man, oh man, putting this thing together has been quite an epic journey. However, one that has been so worth it. I can't wait to get this on the road and daily drive it.
Yeah, I'll tell you how that goes.
I think that's going to be an official wrap on this episode. Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate the support. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and make sure to turn the notification bell on, because that's important to us too.
That's nice.